1973, Mr. Bhutto hosted some Islamist professors and students of Kabul University who had fled, fearing for their lives when Sardar Dawood's coup took place in Afghanistan. And some names I'll mention, and that will immediately make it clear to you. Professor Rabbani, Gulbuddin Hikmatyar, Ahmad Shah Massoud, they all came here. And they were taken under the wing of Nasirullah Babar and the ISI. And Mr. Bhutto's orders were to equip, train, finance them. And that is the embryonic beginnings of the Mujahideen struggle in Afghanistan.
Before 71, in our textbooks, Hindu was not enemy of the nation. After 72, we discovered an enemy in our textbooks and we started poisoning the minds of children with that change. That was most dangerous thing which started by the regime of Bhutto Sahab. Then Islamization. To declare Ahmadis non-Muslim was another thing.
Maximum rise of militancy and religious fanaticism in Pakistan started from the era of General Ziaul Haq.
His aggressive Islamization was inspired by the Saudi money and by Saudi philosophy. And I think there was a collusion at that time between Ziaul Haq's regime and the Saudi establishment to ensure that Pakistan became not just a Muslim state but a Sunni Muslim state.
When the government of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was toppled in 1977 by General Ziaul Haq, Jamaat-e-Islami joined the government of General Ziaul Haq. There were two ministers of Jamaat-e-Islami.
Wahhabi, Salafi, Saudi Arabian Islam being forced and rammed down our throats since the time of General Ziaul Haq, 1977 to 1988. He had no political legitimacy, he had no credibility, he had no constituency, he was an illegal usurper as a military dictator.
And during the Ziaul Haq period, concerted effort was made to introduce Jamaat Islami cadres into the Pakistan army. And that has some people think that has also got into the mindset of the Pakistan army. Some of the young officers have started thinking in terms of jihad.
It was the Mullah Military Alliance. But that was not just to retain control and power over the government of Pakistan and over the state institutions, such as the parliament and the judiciary, and of course he was the executive, so he had control over everything. The media was totally muzzled. There was total censorship of the press and an absolute absence of freedom of expression and freedom of assembly and freedom of speech and freedom of everything. But he also passed laws. He passed the Hudud ordinances, Qisas and Diyat, evidence. He made the federal Shariat court, the blasphemy laws. He so-called Islamized Pakistan.
Of course, with Ziaul Haq's so-called Islamic laws that he brought in, which were so anti-woman, which were so anti-culture. I mean, the two victims of Ziaul Haq's policies, I feel, were women and culture. Because he banned classical dancing on stage by women. And this is now 81, 82, 83. One could not perform on stage without getting an NOC, a no objection certificate. And every time one got that, one had to actually say that one is not going to be wearing the ghungroos, the bell, ankle bells, and dancing.
Pakistan may be the only state. He promoted militancy in their own land. I never heard, maybe I don't know very close history of Africa. Otherwise, I never heard that a state is developing itself, terrorism and militancy. This is not only, for me, this is not only ISI. This is the army, which have created this militancy with aligned with the CIA.
जब रशिया यहाँ आया अफ़गानिस्तान में तो अमेरिका ने इन्हीं लोगों को इस्तेमाल किया। ये उसामा उन्हीं का लायवल था। उसामा अमेरिकन स्पॉन्सर्ड था ना, अमेरिका ही लेके आया था ना। और ये सारे मौलवी भी उन्हीं के। ये जिहाद अफ़गानिस्तान का जब किस्सा था, चुनाचे जिहाद अफ़गानिस्तान जब ख़त्म हुआ तो उसके बाद मियाँ तुफ़ैल का ये इंटरव्यू छपा हुआ मौजूद है जो अमीर जमात थे कि जी हमें पता भी नहीं लगा और हम अमेरिका के हाथों इस्तेमाल होते रहे। यानी ये इतने ही नादान थे कि इन्हें पता ही नहीं लगा अमेरिका के हाथों। बात यह है कि उन वहाँ से डॉलर जो आते थे वो आपका मुंह बंद किए हुए थे और आंखें बंद किए हुए थे, और क्या था।
When we were having this Afghan war or Afghan jihad, that is the fight between the so-called socialism and the free world, the Jamaat Islami was siding with the Americans here in this part of the world to bleed the Russians. They were welcoming all sorts of jihadis from entire world. They were getting a lot of direct and indirect funds from militants from Pakistan and abroad and other countries.
Jamaat Islami primarily has been a religious oriented party in the sense that it wants to reform politics through the means of religion, and therefore has had some connection with those extremist groups which neither recognize democracy nor recognize liberal secular political systems, and basically want to create a militant Islamic state.
मियाँ तुफ़ैल के बाद जो अमीर जमात बने थे काजी हुसैन अहमद, ये सवात में लेक्चरर थे जोग्राफ़ी के, सोडमी के इल्ज़ाम में वहाँ से निकले थे। एक लड़के के साथ ज़्यादती करने के इल्ज़ाम में, सोडमी के इल्ज़ाम में निकले थे और 2 दफ़ा पागल खाने में एडमिट रहे। ये ऑन रिकॉर्ड बात है, कुछ ढकी छुपी नहीं। बल्कि उस ज़माने में, जिस ज़माने में मुशर्रफ था, तो मैंने ये अखबार में ये एक इंटरव्यू में कहा था कि ये 2 दफ़ा पागल खाने में रहा। उसके बाद मुशर्रफ ने मुझे फ़ोन करके पूछा कि भाई तुमने ये बात कही क्या? मैंने कहा जी पागल खाने से रिकॉर्ड निकलवा लो तुम, उसमें मेरे से क्या पूछ रहे हो तुम, उससे निकलवा लो। तो निकलवा के देखा। फिर एक मीटिंग में काजी साहब ने कुछ बकबक की तो उसने कहा मैं तुम्हें वापस पागल खाने में दाखिल करा दूँगा, ज़्यादा बकबक की। ये चुप हो गया बिल्कुल खामोश। तो सारे बद किरदार लोग हैं, सिर्फ मज़हब का लिबादा इन्होंने इसलिए ओढ़ रखा है कि लोगों लूट मार के पर्दा डालने के लिए।
In Pakistan, it's a menace. Your Jamaat Islami in Bangladesh has been controlled by Lahore. Most of the Al-Qaeda terrorists have been caught in Pakistan, are been given refuge by Jamaat Islami. Sheikh Khalid Muhammad is one example. Daniel Pearl was beheaded in a house by a Jamaat Islami member named Maiman. And Maiman was, of course, a reputed Jamaat Islami member whose house was used, and he provided shelters. So Hizbul Mujahideen al-Alami, they carried out bombings in Pakistan on Shia shrines and killed foreigners and all. It was the B team of Jamaat Islami.
कि हमारे वालिद ने इस्लामी जमीयत तलबा बनाई, जमात इस्लामी बनाई, लेकिन हम 9 बहन भाई, हम में से कोई आदमी ना इस्लामी जमीयत तलबा ना जमात इस्लामी कभी ना इसके कभी पास गए, ना मुत्तफ़िक़ है, ना रुकन है, ना बल्कि कभी अगर जलसे जुलूस में हम कभी दूर से नज़र आ गए तो ऊपर से उन्होंने देखा उसे, तो उन्होंने हमसे पूछा कि तुम्हारा क्या काम था वहाँ, तुम क्यों वहाँ गए। उन्होंने बिल्कुल हमें अलग रखा, बिल्कुल ऐसे ही अलग रखा जैसे कोई ड्रग पैडलर होता है, वो अपनी पुड़ियाँ जो है बाहर ही छुपा के रखता है, वो अपने घर नहीं लाता। हमारे वालिद ने ये सारे नज़रियात, ये सारी फ़िक्र, ये सारी चीज़ें जो है इन्हें बाहर रखा अपने घर से बाहर। घर में उन्होंने कभी हम लोग इंग्लिश स्कूल से पढ़ते रहे, हमने तमाम किया, हमें उन्होंने कभी न जमात न जमीयत न कुछ, और हमने अब कभी जमीयत का साथ भी नहीं दिया। स्कूलों, कॉलेजों, यूनिवर्सिटियों में कभी जमीयत का साथ नहीं दिया, ना हमें कभी इनको अच्छा समझा, इसलिए कि हम इन घर में इनके सारे मुजाहिरे देख चुके थे, और इनकी गुंडागर्दी, बदमाशी सारी।
The government has used Jamaat Islami in Pakistan either to gain influence in a foreign country, Bangladesh being an example, and in Pakistan. The Bali bomber was trained and everything, and it's now proved that it's one Umar Patik was caught, one of the Bali bomber mastermind was caught from Ahmedabad, was actually a Jamaat Islami member.
ज़ियाउल की अजीब आमरीत, वो उसने मतलब मज़हब को यूज़ किया, इस्लाम को यूज़ किया, यहाँ के लोगों को यूज़ कर, उसमें फ़ंड आया बहुत सऊदी अरब से। उस वक्त हमारा अमेरिका भी बहुत खुश था कि कोई यहाँ पे एक ईविल आया है, सोवियत यूनियन, उसको मारना है। तो इन्होंने सारों ने मिलजुल के एक बहुत बड़ा लिथल बम बनाया जिसमें इंटरनेशनल कंसेंसस था, जो कि मार्गरेट थैचर जैसे लोग कहते थे कि कमाल कर दिया है गुलबदीन हिकमतयार ने। वहाँ पे कैपिटलिज्म कह रहा था अमेरिका का कि कैपिटलिज्म को बचाना है तो जहादियों को फंड देना है, और ज़ियाउल हक उनकी डार्लिंग थी, और वो जो शेख मुजीब को मार के बैठे थे वो भी यहाँ आके पनाहे लेते थे। उस वक्त हम बहुत बड़े, दुनिया के बहुत बड़े माने हुए और ठप्पा लगाया हुआ, सर्टिफाइड स्टैंप लगाया हुआ, उसमें हमारा सूफीज़म मरा।
We traveled to Hazar Khwani, 25 kilometers from Peshawar, to visit the shrine of the Sufi saint Rahman Baba, which was targeted by the militant Islamic extremists. In 2009, on the 5th of March, militant terrorists attacked this 300-year-old shrine, destroying parts of it. The shrine has been repaired and renovated in the 3 years since the attack and is functioning as before as a maktab or Quranic school for children. It has become the center of attraction for the devotees coming from far and nearby villages. We spoke to the khadim of the shrine.
उस वक्त सुबसरत के जो हालात थे उसके पेश नज़र तकरीबन पूरे पाकिस्तान में दहशतगर्दी की एक लहर शुरू थी, और अक्सर कुछ इस तरह अनासिर भी थे जो औलिया किराम के दुश्मन थे। बाबा अब्दुल रहमान बाबा एक तो सूफी शायर हैं, और इसका तकरीबन कुछ 300 साल से इनका यहाँ ये मज़ार है। पहले भी ये मज़ार इसी तरह बनाया हुआ था हुकूमत पाकिस्तान ने।
We listened to the devotional songs and the local traditional tune dedicated to Rahman Baba, who was himself a well-known composer. In Pakistan, there are two kinds of Sufis, the red kind and the green kind. The Reds are anti-establishment, whereas the Greens are willing to stick to established conventions, which oppose the Wahhabi outlook of complete surrender to the abstract one.
Militants were against all sorts of Sufis who were not towing the line of Wahhabi Islam, and they attacked all shrines irrespective of the schools of Sufism, be that Chishtiya or Naqshbandiya or Qadriya, and they were more having a strict code of Wahhabi Islam.
The Wahhabism, as you say, they call themselves Salafis here. And the Pakistani Salafis are not aggressive, not at all. They have no history of committing crimes, etc. But it was the people who came from Saudi Arabia and from the Middle East who were given to this kind of a creed. And they came during the Afghan Jihad against the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. And they tried to spread their own. So some of our areas were affected by their ideology and their interpretation of Islam. But these people, that Hafiz Saeed, etc., or Lashkar-e-Taiba as it was called, they are not militants per se. I mean, they are not within the society, they don't create any trouble.
यूनिवर्सिटियों में मैंने पढ़ाया है और बाहर की यूनिवर्सिटियों में मैंने लेक्चर्स दिए हैं। इसी तरीके से फिर ये सियासत का मैदान भी हमने इख्तियार किया है, दीन और दावत का मैदान भी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हमने अपनाया है। तो ये सारे मैदान हमारे लिए इकट्ठे मैदान है, हम इनको जुदा जुदा नहीं समझते। हम दीन और सियासत को अलग अलग नहीं करते, हम इकट्ठा चला रहे हैं।
Wahhabism is planted here by the establishment, the army of Pakistan, and it was properly then taken care of while it was in its nursery stage. So As far as the growth of Wahhabism is concerned, it's not natural. It's not something that belonged to the ground, to something that belonged to the land. It's imported. So that's how I believe it came